Yo, welcome back to VLR with Justin and Ulam. We are going to listen to what Dio has to say.
There's something... Nah, I guess there's a couple of things I want to double check.
About this room, or what?
One of them's not really significant, I guess.
Huh?
First off, this machine.
Yeah, that we ended up not
We
using.
didn't even end up using this thing, did we?
Nope.
I was just wondering what it was.
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. Look at the side here. There's a name or something. IG Replicator?
Replicator makes it sound like it makes copies of stuff.
So maybe it's able to duplicate the one vial of medicine we've already found? So it's like a copy machine?
Yeah, probably copies IG, whatever that is.
Thank you, Clover. Any ideas?
Ice cream by the gallon?
Of course! This machine must be here so we can just make all the ice cream you want. Are you nuts? Alright, in other words, okay.
Good one.
Yeah, let's move on.
Hey, this isn't the time for stupid jokes.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a helpless
Let's move
child
on.
back there in the infirmary who needs our help.
Okay, suddenly you care. Weird. He was right, of course. I hung my head in shame.
At any rate, as long as we don't know what IG means, we can't do anything with this.
That's right.
Not on our
Makes
own, but
sense.
bring that information back to the group.
On to the
I
second
suppose.
issue. Sigma, you found a journal and some sort of vial in the safe, right?
Yeah?
The vial. Could you show it to me again? I didn't really get a good look at it before. You guys were in there so close I could barely see it. Was it really Excelivir?
Yeah, definitely. As I spoke, I pulled the vial out of my pocket. See, it's written right there on the label. Excelivir.
You really are an idiot. Although I guess in this case, the G in IG stands for guy.
What? I don't... The words were barely out of my mouth when he moved. Before I could blink, the vial disappeared from my hand. Hey, what gives?
What are you doing?
Dio slipped the vial quickly into his coat.
Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it safe. I'll even give it back to you later.
No, not later. Give it back
I don't
now.
think so. If you want it back, you're gonna have to listen to my request.
Request?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want this back, in the next AB game, you have to choose ally.
Ally? Wait, is that why you took the medicine to
That's
blackmail me?
horrible. You're using Quark's life as leverage.
Not if we tell everyone what he's done.
Well, I've got some really good reasons to do so. I'll be happy to give it back if you just do what I say.
I didn't realize until they started to hurt that I'd curled my hands into fists. If Dio would only give me an opening.
I wouldn't try and take it back by force if I were you. You make any sudden moves and I'll smash it.
He patted his pocket gently.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelivir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Damn
It's
it.
not fair.
This game isn't about compassion. It's not about being clever. It's about one thing. How well you can manipulate people to your advantage. How unfair you can be.
Well, there's his admission of guilt for all the Quark stuff earlier, essentially.
So, what are you gonna do? Ready to promise me you'll pick ally?
Oh, sure, I'll promise. What does it matter what I promise?
Ah, I knew. I'm glad you understand, but don't think about trying anything funny. Break your promise and
Yeah, well, we'll
see
see.
you chumps later. I'm really looking forward.
With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio strutted out of the room.
Are you really going to do what he says? Sigma, you've
Well,
only got
can
one
we
BP
afford not
right
to?
now. If we choose ally and he chooses betray,
I know. I'll drop to... Yeah,
But
I'll
that
get
means-
bid. Look, it's not like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark will...
so you're going to die to save his life? That's...
Not necessarily. He may also choose ally.
Why would you do
But
that?
no, he probably won't. But he might. It's not a guarantee. In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice was far from a foregone conclusion. Well, we should get back to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't wait for Clover's response.
An ambidex gate has been
Well, what do you want to bet? That's Dio again, opening it before
45
anyone else is even
minutes
here.
Remain until ambidex game polling closes.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
In one of his hands was a moon key. Twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned, and slid it back into his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the next round.
I glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back, as was Phi, and of course Clover. We're still missing Tenmyoji and,
We carried Quark to one of the beds.
Luna.
Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
How's
I
he
see.
doing?
Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change
Right.
then, huh?
So what was your room, Sigma?
A laboratory.
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yes, why would you be
Yeah,
asking
it
so
did.
specifically?
Was there any of that Excelavir?
Don't tell those other idiots that I hear one word.
Yeah. So obviously we have to say no. My eyes flicked the Dio for a moment. No, nothing. Beside me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
So how'd it go with you? Find anything interesting? With a unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Alice and Kay shrugged. If only we could get Kay positioned
Where
behind
does
Dio
that leave
and
us?
grab his arms. That way we could take it back and then pummel him.
We still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
Well,
What are
we
you
need to
gonna
get
do?
Tenmyoji and Luna up
I'm
here
a little
anyway.
curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show
Sure,
you the
knock
way
yourself
then.
out.
That would be wonderful.
I think I'll go have
One
a look at the
direction to
room
get there,
Alice
but
Kay
whatever.
and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something.
I think I should probably follow
Perhaps
him.
there's some Excelavir hidden somewhere in there.
What a
Then I
bastard.
shall take you there.
What about you two? Where are you going?
I think I'll start by heading over to the infirmary to see how
Then
Quark's
I will
doing.
too.
Alright.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. Okay then, guess we should
Hold
be
on.
going too.
Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. You wouldn't tell me anything about the lab, except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. You said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
Yeah, one sec. Dug the journal out of my pocket and handed it to Phi. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each
This is
one.
Latin.
Okay. You mean you
Yeah,
can read it?
with time and a dictionary.
Well, so in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not going to be some sort of... I took the dog for... It was nice.
thanks.
I can understand a little of it, but most of these words I've...
Probably scientific on account of the fact that it was found in the lab. Phi started to leaf through the book again as she spoke. Then suddenly she
Wait.
stopped.
I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry.
So this one is I took the dog for a
Don't
walk.
rush me. This is gonna take a minute. Interesting. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
Interesting.
Not sure. Let me read it to you. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing.
When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates on a 1-1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces this to 1 square root of 1/6, or approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels that only 0.4 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2 seconds, or root of 6 have passed outside. In other words, when 10 okay, the 4 seconds that passes, why the virus has been termed Radical 6. Okay. Radical is another term for what is known as the root operation. The function inverse to the taking of a power. In a less mathematical sense used to refer to something that is extreme or severe, those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear, although there is as yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed. Many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Article 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch as if it were a video cassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact 24 seconds have passed. Given this increased speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information, unable to keep up, begins to fail. Whatever the cause, the infected invariably attempt to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of this virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we have been unable to develop one. Curious, so this is written before the discovery of Accelerator, it would seem. Seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. Thus far, however, we have been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I've continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict I will have workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading into and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels as if a cloud has gone over the sun. That is a lot more dead already than we have had confirmed anywhere else, so yeah. However long ago this journal was written, stuff had already gone severely down. Every day I see more crows and rats are everywhere, feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats, who have grown fat on a plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. Curious. I don't know how many were saved, but I fear only a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Please let their future be a bright one. Yeah, so we are some period after that terrorist attack effectively going down real successfully. Whoa, that's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. If you get infected, your brain slows down to the root of 1/6.
That isn't the important part.
Yeah, really not.
Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Corkwell was trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First,
The timing.
the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet.
Yeah, which calls into question how long ago this had to have been, given Luna knows about
What do you
Accelerator.
make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written? I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Accelerator that cures
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like
it.
that.
Unless they had a breakthrough, so calm down. Hold on a second, I'm getting confused. When was this thing
December
even
29th.
written?
No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this
Yeah,
year.
probably. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions.
Yeah, it seems
The
to be
newspaper
somewhat
article said
similar to
something
us.
about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the...
You're trying to say this place might be one of those underground shelters, which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Cork's
Then
been
maybe
infected,
the
right?
virus got in somehow.
That
Just
would be
think about it for a
bad.
minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow.
Because in
made
this
us
route
sleep
we
for
haven't
years,
discovered
maybe
the
even decades.
freeze chamber.
While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke
Right.
us up?
It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it seems a pretty plausible scenario, except for we were captured before the pandemic started. And how would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? Most importantly, why the hell are we playing the Donnery game if the point of this place is to save us? No, it's a place that was perhaps for that, but is now been reworked to be used for this. Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
Fi had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with
Change
me?
my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that, she gone. It's probably not the best person to try with, but we should definitely quietly get out both of the information that we found Accelerator and that Dio took it and is threatening to destroy it if anyone finds out. That way we can, behind his back, work out a plan to get it away from him. She was gone, but I'm guessing Sigma's not going to think of that. Otherwise, he is way too late at this point if he does think about it, probably. Let a long-tired science start her off toward the infirmary. Because just letting Tenmyoji and Luna know is not going to help, in all likelihood. How's he doing?
Seems to be stable.
Still sleeping.
I see. Mind if I have a look? Made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Phi I talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment, the AB game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake, mine and Quark's. Those infected by that, yep. We need to make sure he stays asleep, otherwise as soon as he does... Yeah, as soon as it wore off, he would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. We need the Accelerator. Unfortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally. But if I did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. And Dio, in that case, would not even bother anyway. He's not mentioned yet what score that's going to get Dio to, and I've not been able to keep track. But in all odds, it gets Dio to 9, and he's out of here. Probably smashes the Accelerator to be spiteful on the way out. The question was then what to do. Sacrifice myself to save Quark, or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself. It was so faint I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa.
Oh, that's not good. He's starting to wake up. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I even been considering let a child die in my place? Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I had considered letting Quark die even for a minute was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way was I going to leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at him. Any uncertainty I'd felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do. See, this is... Play Dio's game. Incorrect! If a guy has shown that he is this willing to be deceitful, there is no way he intends to follow through on the last part.
All players, if no vote is recorded.
Yep.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's possible this story will have him follow through anyway, but there's no reason for him to bother following through after that act of deceit, because now everyone will know that, or at least we will know that he was that willing to be deceitful.
Not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote...
I'll automatically...
Well,
I know.
up against?
I heard the voice on the internet.
Yeah, but Kay and Alice vote
Not that
betrayed.
I suppose- Just means I lost that round.
No, so he's not at 1 then, so he's fine.
I'd just be voting ally anyway.
Ooh. It's unlikely that... Yeah, they probably are going to vote betray considering Alice. Which means Kay gets to 9. Which may be necessary if, as I'm thinking, if Dio's also at 9, we'll need Kay
You know
to
who my
also be
opponents
there
are,
to
right?
maybe stop him, but I don't know, we'll
Alice
see.
only has one.
This will be
left. If I
fascinating.
pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind.
Obviously.
You see? Doesn't matter. My vote's the same.
Yep. Tenmyoji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. Alright. Take care of Quark.
You worry about yourself.
I mean, Alice, on that exact same note, should want to pick ally then. Because while betray would get her further from 1, it also almost certainly gets Kay out of here, and then she's stuck here anyhow. So she's going to want it to be ally. We'll see if she ends up succeeding at that anyway. Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. And meeting up, I assume, with everyone else who has reconvened. When we got to the warehouse, we found, yep, everyone else waiting for us. Whew, excuse me. I don't see Dio, though. Well, not quite everyone. One person was missing. Dio's already in his
Take a look at the
area,
doors.
I imagine. They're all closed. When we came back in before, the one on the far right
And
was open.
that would mean...
That he went in.
Exactly.
That bastard. He'd probably been worried I might try and take the Accelerator for him by force, so he'd hidden himself in the AB room. What a coward. I'd made up my mind to choose ally no matter what, but a part of me had still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. See, no, that was a bad plan. The plan was to get allies and take advantage of this way sooner than you ended up doing, but whatever. Now I'd made sure I wouldn't get the chance to try. He also may have hidden the Excelsior in that other room, just so that if we did try to prove anything, he'd be like, hey, I don't got anything, you guys are lying. But what, anyway.
Where's
We'll see.
Tenmyoji?
Oh,
He's gonna put his, well, he's not putting his life in your hands. He's
I see.
letting you
well,
decide.
I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking Betray.
right. What will
Nope.
you guys be choosing?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
And she
Yes.
doesn't want you
As
running
long as
off.
Tenmyoji votes Ally, I can't choose Betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9.
But what
Yeah, but how do you...
You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Sure. To be fair, I think the one time he did betray everyone like that was a time when he was a solo.
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well,
Okay.
I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
He continued briskly toward the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Well, we'll see then. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Yeah, from the sound of things. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
Yeah, very interesting round, indeed.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They headed off at a trot toward the second room from the right, and we're soon out of sight inside it. All right, Clover,
Oh,
time
okay.
for us to go.
Right behind you.
She doesn't need to go if she doesn't want to. Sighed to myself and headed toward the leftmost AB room. And she doesn't need to be privy to this if she doesn't want to. She was certainly acting like this was giving her concern. Alright. Well, let's see what the deal is.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm going
You
to choose
can't.
ally.
You'll die.
Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to ally doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pick
Do
Betray.
you really think a jerk like that is going to choose ally if he doesn't have to? No.
No,
He's got
but...
six. If he picks Betray,
Oh, so he does
then
have
he'll
6.
9
Alright, yep, that
points.
is... Yep. Well, what about
Huh?
you? You've got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chooses ally and we choose Betray, then you'd have 9 BP.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
Quite probably. And I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. The only choice is ally. It's the only chance we have to get that medicine
That's why
back.
Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excelsior, even if you do what he says?
Yes, but we're here, so what makes you think he won't smash? Unless, like I said, he's already hidden it, in which case he doesn't have the ability to. Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice.
Okay, you're gonna overpower
I'll be
me,
pushing
but
that
okay.
button.
Says who? Before I realized what was going, oh, Clover ducked past me and ran toward the voting machine. No, stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled backward with all my strength. And...
Ow!
Oh, okay. So I guess that was a little
Hey,
too hard, huh?
What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Watch me.
But you're gonna die. Dio's going to kill you. You can't do this.
And you need to let everyone else know why it happened.
10 seconds.
Thanks, it means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. I gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, and then we'll see what the Betray route is, unless, of course, this ends up going long because maybe he does pick ally, and this just goes on for quite a while. I don't know, we'll see. I'm guessing this ends pretty quick.
Thank you.
If not because of us, then because of Kay. Alright, well, this is going to be most interesting. For several long moments, we just stared at one another. Words weren't necessary. Everything she would have tried to tell me, I could already see in her eyes. Let's go. I turned and headed toward the results screen.
Sigma.
I heard her behind me, her voice barely louder than a whisper. The choice was already made. I stood up straight and kept walking. Alright. Have we correctly discerned the nature of Dio? I mean, to a degree, obviously. Did he play it this way? Yeah, double ally. Yeah, obviously. Alright. And what was the first one? Because it skipped past? Interesting. So yeah, K indeed. So, how does this play out for K? That's the particularly curious aspect of this. Because the rest of it was kind of obvious. Including the fact that K was going to do that, but how's he going to play this? Yeah, and my guess is Dio's at the door.
What?
Sigma's BP is...
Negative.
Suddenly all eyes were on me. I felt their weight, but stood my ground. It was the result I had expected. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long. There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic. Okay. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble, then gave out entirely as I crumpled to the floor. So we may not even get to experience what exactly Kay tries to do now.
Hang on. Hey! Sigma!
Unless you guys have some of that stuff that allows people to survive the next injection, this concern really doesn't matter. Trying to open my eyelids was like trying to lift sheets of lead. Clover needs to tell everyone to... Yep, that's a lot, but I can make out a blur. There had to be Dio in front of the number 9 door, obviously. You'll keep your promise, goddammit. I groaned and with a Herculean effort lifted my head and my sluggish body off the floor. Every step was a battle, and whenever I shifted my weight, my muscles threatened to give out again. But somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning in my mind. I would reach Dio. Then at last... My mind cleared for some reason. Oh, no, we got close enough, okay. Smudge of color fading into a recognizable person. I threw out my hand in front of him. Give it back! Give me the medicine!
Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here?
I don't care. Just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Excelivir in the laboratory.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it right now?
Yeah.
I kept my promise. Now you... I wasn't a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. There was a chance he wouldn't give us back the Excelivir. If he didn't, then I'd die with my hands around his throat. I gathered as much of my mind as I could and got ready to attack.
Fine.
Not quite what I'd been expecting.
Here.
With a shrug, he pulled the vial out of his pocket and tossed it toward me. I caught it and pulled the tiny glass bottle to my chest, worried I might drop it. The label said unmistakably Excelivir. Or perhaps he's just swapped what's in it. It was the real thing. Yeah, well, the label's the real thing, anyway. Clover, take it. I held it out toward her.
Right. Of course.
She quickly tucked it in her pocket. Good. Now at least Quark will be alright. With that, the last of my strength left me and I dropped to my knees.
Sigma! Are you okay? Sigma!
Pretty clearly not, people. I guess this is it.
First, is the sofa real? I guess.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. 9 minutes. Once the Soper was injected, I had 9 minutes until the muscle relaxant followed it. About 4 minutes had already passed, which left me with 5, give or take a little. In 5 minutes, I would be dead. What could I do in 5 minutes? How could I save myself? I gave a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seemed to be determined to struggle right up until the very end. Okay, Sigma, you can do this. Clinging desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? There had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. I just had to think. If there was a way out, I'd find it. I wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There had to be an answer. Well, yep, get Kay to karate chop your arm off. Unless somebody has a blade that can better do it. Nope. Are we just ending here? Ah, okay, so this is going to... For it to say a be continued, yeah. So this is going to require us to use our knowledge of that other vial, which I don't think we have in this playthrough, so I don't know exactly how we're supposed to get it in this one. Yep, so this is a key in order to unlock further, so yeah, it's going to be like 5 minutes of life, so, which is confusing a bit, because, oh, nuts. And can I not hit skip? Yeah, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. Get me to the menu. Here we go. Back to the flowchart. Did not mean to exit like that. Alright, so, looking at our time, we have just enough. We'll go ahead and flesh out the remainder of this. Why did this one end? Oh, right, because we don't have that yet. Okay, I need to quit hitting that back. That's what... It's right-click, not back. Alright, so this one's waiting on... I don't know what we need to figure that out. This one's waiting on, is there proof it wasn't a murder? I also don't know if we have that. This one's waiting on the dose that I think we got, like, somewhere over here. But so we kind of know what the answer is. We just don't know how we're going to get to it. We'll go ahead and return here. And finish out the episode by finishing out the Betray route, which presumably also still doesn't go much longer, honestly. Let's get to skip. There we go. Get this stuff moved on from. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, which is weird that they even give you an option for this one, considering how much he talks about it and then still picks Betray. So this should be confusing. Clover and I walked slowly out of the AB room. Dio glanced over us and he exited his own room. That's different.
Sigma, why?
Yeah, after all the stuff you said, really doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
It's not like I think you made the right decision. You
Sorry.
don't need to apologize. I think I would have chosen Betray. We'll find another way, all right? We just have to keep an eye on Dio. As soon as
Seeing
he
as
gives
how
us
he's
an
not getting out
opening,
now.
And I'm sure Alice will help us too.
Yeah, which is why we should have told a lot more people and then just also told them to
It's
keep
okay.
it quiet.
We can trust Alice. There's no way she told him.
Well, yeah, obviously she
Anyway,
wouldn't.
let's go
Assuming
check
you
the
told
results.
her that he needs to not know that she knows. But whatever. Anyway. I guess there is the fact that given I'm not totally sure about which route this is and who all we know we can trust, we don't necessarily know who all we could trust to be quiet about it. Yep, still Betray ally, so now Kay will be a force to be reckoned with. Alright, so yeah, screw you, Dio. But let's see. How does everyone deal with Kay? Because we know what happens when Kay has 9 and has a chance to leave. He just leaves. So this is probably going to be short, and we're probably going to get at least a little bit of time to call him out on it. We'll see.
Hey, what the hell is this?
Sorry, I decided to choose Betray.
So you don't care what happens to Quark?
What kind of a cold-hearted bastard are you? Please, just give it back.
Hey, Sigma? What are you talking about?
We found the Accelavir in the laboratory.
Dio stole it. What? You mean he has it right now?
Nah, I don't have it. Well,
What?
I won't have it in about 2 seconds.
The moment the words left his mouth, I knew what he planned to do, and my fist was in his mouth, hopefully. Leapt toward him as I spoke, but it was already too late. Snatched the vial out of his pocket, brought it up. Alright, so no. And threw it to the ground.
No.
And now we kill him. You bastard!
A promise is a promise. If you'd chosen ally, this never would have happened. You want to blame someone? Blame yourselves.
And now we all take him out. Yep, something snapped in my brain. Yeah, it's time. Of course, only to be stopped short by a firm hand on my arm. Curious.
Hold it.
Why are you stopping
This
me?
isn't the time for that.
Huh? This feels like the perfect
The number 9
time.
door.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's just about as big a bastard, I guess, using this to get out. Whatever. Suddenly, we're all running toward Kay in the number 9 door, but it's gonna be way, way, way too late. Whatever. Yep, we've already seen this play out before. Well, unless Dio did what I think he did and swapped the contents of the vials during that brief time that he had away, then he's really screwed himself as well, because we know by now that he's also that we're all infected with it. Kay, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Well, that should be obvious.
Are you
Yeah, he's
fucking
bleeding.
kidding me?
I assure you, I would do no such thing. I am perfectly after a rational assessment of the fact. What is currently our The answer is, of course, he must be taken to a for that to happen. One of us currently. The only one of that is why I
And leave us all behind.
unavoidable. But as I
Couldn't you have at least waited until the next round? Then you could have raised Quark's BP to...
And what would happen if Dio was Quark's opponent in the next round? I have no illusions about what Dio would do. This is the most logical choice.
kinda get on with it. There's really no point in us stopping the person who does go, because yes, once it's been opened, and now our only logical choice is to let him go and hope he's correct. Except the game always stops our timeline there, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, whatever.
Wait! Where's
Don't
Alice?
wait. Why wait?
Yes. She has collapsed, but you needn't be concerned. She is only sleeping.
Oh no, what did you do to Alice?
You will need to ask her yourself. I must take my leave.
Hey, god damn it, wait!
Yeah, doesn't feel good, does it, Dio? But the larger man easily sidestepped him and tumbled nimbly through the door just before it closed. Well, bye-bye.
The number this ends. Thank you. As escape, please.
Yep, blah, blah, blah. Same, and do we just call it there? It's just gonna call it there, okay. Well, that was indeed quite quick. So, we're gonna go ahead and call this episode here then. Is it gonna put me to... There we go. Alright, so that was not an ending. So, where are we going next then? This is also a puzzle, apparently. There isn't enough antiviral medication. I'm guessing that's what we use that thing in the science thing for in order to cure everybody. I need to... Anyway. I think we'll be taking this route to try to clear all of these out on the next episode, or at least clear one of the paths. Given how long these episodes go, we'll probably get about through, because this will be a game room, an AB room, and then that'll probably be an episode. So we're going to be starting next time on more of the cyan. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.